Being feminine is not about getting a man to provide for you or wearing pink milkmaid dresses. Feminine energy is in all of us, and when you activate non-negotiable feminine habits, you get the most out of life and feel at peace, grounded and abundant. Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing 7 highly feminine habits to increase your feminine energy. These micro feminine habits changed my life, and here's how they'll change yours too. The first feminine habit is enhancing your feminine silhouette. Women who hold a lot of masculine traits are stiff, rigid, and it's reflected in their body. They are uncomfortable to show their softness and femininity, and it reflects in the way they carry themselves and in the way they dress. I went to grooming school when I was younger, and we got taught feminine hacks to enhance your feminine silhouette, like swaying your hips when you're walking, not in an exaggerated way, but in a natural, sensual way. I'm a naturally curvy woman, and it's reflected in the way that I walk, from swaying my hips, the movement and fluidity of my body. I have dresses and skirts which just create movement by themselves. It creates softness, flow and sensuality. And lastly, wearing heels. I call this the click effect. There's something about wearing heels that just makes you feel more feminine, that helps you to sway your hips when you're walking, and it doesn't have to be high heels. Listen, I'm a part of the Kitten Heel committee because comfort over everything, but just that elevation from the heel adds to enhancing your feminine silhouette. The next highly feminine habit is being comfortable being a damsel. I always say that I'm a dainty flower and I welcome all the help and support. In the Bible, Esther knew that she could not save her people on her own, so she was comfortable not only infiltrating the king's kingdom, but taking a subordinate role. And when the king gave her an opportunity to make the request, she didn't decline it to say, "No, thank you, I don't need your help." She said, "If it pleases the king," and she asked him to revoke the order to execute the Jews. She was comfortable being a damsel, asking for help and receiving the help. Feminine women understand that asking and receiving help is a superpower. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less than. It doesn't make you incompetent. It doesn't mean that you can't do it on your own. It means that you don't always have to do it on your own. It can be easier and quicker for you to ask and receive the help. The next highly feminine habit is having just because activities. Even though I love growing and evolving, self-development is masculine and it can be exhausting, because you're constantly thinking, constantly learning and constantly doing. So I create small moments of pleasure just because I like them. I love watching reality TV shows like Love is Blind, Perfect Match, The Ultimatum. I'm not learning anything, but it's entertaining and it's also a form of escapism. Not everything you do has to be productive for it to be valuable. Just because activities are valuable because they give you pleasure. When you disregard pleasure and creativity, you lose your feminine energy. Just because activities are also a form of self-care, you're looking after yourself, you're pouring into yourself. You should never expect anyone to treat you better than you treat yourself. The next highly feminine habit is to minimize thinking time. Have you ever noticed that when you're with your boyfriend, partner or husband, you switch off your brain? You're not really looking where you're going, you don't want to make any decisions. That's because you're in the presence of masculine energy. How I emulate switching off my brain when I'm on my own is attaching a fun, relaxing activity to a task or a chore. When I'm cooking or cleaning, I play music or listen to YouTube videos in the background, which allows me to be present in the moment and minimize my thinking time. When you wake up first thing in the morning, you are flooded with all these thoughts, all these things you have to do. Or when you're busy at work or at home, you tend to feel really overwhelmed and burnt out. Your mind is going at 100 miles an hour. You need to attach a fun or relaxing activity to whatever you're doing to slow down your thoughts, switch off your brain and minimize your thinking time. The next highly feminine habit is done is better than perfect. I have endless to-do lists, from shopping lists, things that I have to do in the house, things I have to do for my content and my business, and it's impossible for me to give 100% in all all aspects of my life. I'm not going to spend hours editing a video to make sure that it's perfect. I'm going to edit it the best way that I know how, with the skill level that I have. I'm not going to overcompensate and create a coaching package that means I'm accessible all the time when it's not feasible for me and my lifestyle. I'm not going to delay launching a product or service that I know is going to be extremely valuable because it's not perfect. A feminine woman knows that perfectionism is cancerous to the soul. A feminine woman knows that done is better than perfect. You have to be content with not being the best, but doing your best. Competitiveness is masculine because you have to be constantly thinking, strategizing, and doing in order for you to be number one and for you to be the best. The next highly feminine habit is living in seasons. I have seasons where I'm putting in the work and seasons where I'm resting. Q1 and Q4 are my sowing seasons where I'm putting in more work than usual. And Q2 and Q3 are my harvest season where I'm resting and reaping the rewards of the work that I put in. That's because firstly, I decided that I didn't want to hustle like a man. Society and working environments are built on masculine structures of doing and hustling, which was not conducive to me and my body, because I would have toxic productivity when I would be working hard, putting in all this work, and then end up being burnt out with nothing to show for it. And then secondly, men and women are different. Men have 24-hour cycles, which means that they reset quicker, making it easier for them to constantly be doing. Whereas women have 28-day cycles, which means it takes longer for us to reset. And so why our bodies are not prone to constantly be working hard. I know that not everyone has the luxury to not work for an extended period of time. You can live in seasons by using your menstrual cycle. During your 28-day cycle, there are different stages, so you can insert your sowing season and your harvest season depending on what stage you're at. So when you're not feeling motivated or productive, you can still be doing the essential things like going to work, looking after your family and cooking, but perhaps you don't have to go to the gym, or maybe you don't have to go to the gym as often. Perhaps you don't commit to a lot of social plans during that time, and that's your me time for self-care, to pour into yourself. Perhaps you're affording yourself some grace and not working on your personal goals, or minimizing the work that you're putting in for your personal goals. The next highly feminine habit is to protect your peace. I don't play about my peace, which is why I'm very aware of my triggers and what causes me stress, because it impacts your mental and physical health, to the point that when my physical and mental health has declined, I ask myself, am I at peace right now? If not, what's tampering with my peace? Which allows me to reverse engineer it by removing those things or distancing myself from certain people. I know that there's accounts, topics, or content that trigger me, so I'm not going to engage with that content to tell all the algorithms that stop serving me this kind of content. If there's seasons in my life where I'm not feeling the most secure or things aren't going well, I'm not going to expose myself to content that's going to make me compare myself with other people. A feminine woman knows that when you're at peace, you're abundant. Regardless of what you're going through in life, you can overcome it. It's easy for you to deal with it when you're at peace. The message here is you need to activate non-negotiable feminine habits so you can get the most out of life and feel at peace, grounded, and abundant. Like this video if you want to see more videos on femininity and abundance. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time that I upload a video, and I will see you in the next upcoming video. Mwah. Bye, lovelies.